Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of our Laravel 12 series. Today, we're going to unravel the mystery of the Laravel Request Lifecycle. Imagine ordering food at a restaurant. Your order goes through a few steps before it reaches your table. Laravel works the same way with web requests. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how Laravel handles a request, step by step, in the simplest way possible. Let's dive in. Entry point. All requests enter through the public index.php file. Your web server, Apache Nginx, directs requests here, and this file loads the Laravel framework. Kernel handling. In Laravel 12, the HTTP and console kernels are no longer separate files, app.kernel.php and app.console.kernel.php. Instead, their functionality is consolidated in bootstrap app.php. This file binds the HTTP kernel interface, Illuminate contracts HTTP kernel, to handle requests and configures middleware, exception handling, and bootstrapping tasks. Console commands are defined in routes console.php using the artisan facade. In Laravel 10 and earlier, the HTTP kernel was located in app.php kernel.php and extended Illuminate Foundation. It defined bootstrappers, e.g. error handling, logging, and middleware, e.g. CSRF protection, session management. Console kernel was in app console kernel.php and handled artisan commands and scheduling. Service providers. The kernel loads service providers, which bootstrap Laravel components like routing, database, and validation. Providers have a register method to bind services and a boot method to finalize setup. Routing. The request is sent to the router, which matches it to a route or controller. Middleware filters the request, e.g., checking authentication. Execution. The matched route or controller processes the request and generates a response. Response. The response passes back through middleware for modifications and is sent to the user's browser via the kernel. Kernel in Laravel 12 versus older versions. Laravel 12, the kernel logic is centralized in bootstrap app.php, simplifying the framework by removing app.kernel.php and app.console kernel.php. Middleware and bootstrapping are configured in bootstrap/app.php, while console commands are defined in routes console.php. This reduces boilerplate code and makes configuration more modular. Older versions, the HTTP kernel, PHP manage page HTTP boots middlewares and bootstrappers, while the console kernel, app console.php, handled artisan commands. These files explicitly defined middleware arrays and command schedules. The Laravel request lifecycle is like a journey. When you visit a Laravel website, your request, like clicking a link, travels through a few steps, gets processed, and comes back as a web page or data. It's like sending an order to a restaurant kitchen and getting your meal. Laravel 12 makes this process super smooth, and we'll break it down into easy steps. Step 1, the request arrives. Every request starts at the public index.php file. Think of this as the front door of your Laravel app. Whether you're visiting a page or submitting a form, the web server, like Apache or Nginx, sends the request here. The index.php file starts Laravel by loading the bootstrap/app.php file, which sets up the app, like turning on the lights and preparing the kitchen. Step 2, setting up the app. Next, Laravel gets ready to work. It loads things like your database settings, cache, and other tools your app needs. This happens in the bootstrap/app.php file in Laravel 12. It's like the kitchen staff gathering ingredients and tools before cooking your order. Laravel also loads service providers, which are like recipe books that tell Laravel how to set up its features, like routing or authentication. Step 3, finding the right route. Now Laravel needs to figure out what to do with your request. This is where the router comes in. It's like a waiter checking your order to see which chef should handle it. The router looks at the URL, like /home, and checks the routes/web.php file to find a matching route. Here's an example of a route in routes/web.php. Use app controllers home controller. Get home controller class index. This says if someone visits /home, call the index method in home controller. If no route matches, Laravel shows a 404 error page. Step 4, checking with middleware. Before the request reaches the controller, it goes through middleware. Middleware are like security guards or quality checks. They can check if you're logged in or if the request is valid. For example, Laravel's auth middleware redirects users to the login page if they're not logged in. Here's a simple custom middleware in app, middleware example middleware.php. Namespace, middleware. Use closure, use illuminate request. Class example middleware, public function handle, request $request, closure $next. If request user redirect, login, return next request. In Laravel 12, you add middleware in bootstrap app.php, like this. With middleware, function, middleware $middleware, middleware web, append, example middleware class. Step 5, cooking the response. Now the request reaches the controller, where the real work happens. Think of the controller as the chef cooking your meal. For example, if you visit /products, the controller might fetch products from the database and prepare a web page. Here's a simple controller method. Namespace app controllers. Use app models product. Class product controller extends controller. Public function index. Products equals product all. Return view products. This grabs all products and sends them to a blade template called products. Step 6, sending the response back. Once the controller is done, Laravel sends the response back to you. This could be a web page, some JSON data for an API, or a redirect. For web pages, Laravel uses blade templates to create the HTML. For APIs, it might send JSON like message success. Laravel handles all the boring stuff like HTTP headers, so you don't have to. Step 7, finishing the journey. Finally, the response goes back through the public index.php file and is sent to your browser. You see the web page or data, and the journey is complete. Laravel 12 makes this process fast and simple, like a well-run restaurant. Conclusion and recap. Let's wrap it up. The Laravel 12 request lifecycle is like a restaurant order. The request comes in through index.php, Laravel sets up the app, the router finds the right route, middleware checks the request, the controller does the work, and the response is sent back to you. Easy, right? In the next episode, we'll dig deeper into routes and middleware. Like, subscribe, and drop your questions in the comments. See you next time.